Hello, everyone. Welcome to this Rain City Initiative to Overcome Climate Crisis workshop. And thanks to the Professor Mu-Yang Han and his colleagues for organizing this workshop. And we are also very grateful to all speakers today. And because we have many speakers today, without further ado, let's start. Our first speaker is Professor Mu-Yang Han from Seoul National University. He is the founder and the chair of IAA's specialist group on rainwater harvesting and management. Mu-Yang, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Hong, for your kind introduction and your role as a joint convener. At the outset, I would like to warmly welcome all of you to this seminar. I have two things to talk with you. The first is about the draft declaration on Rain City Initiative. I have sent already the draft to you for your consideration. I highly appreciate all of you and other experts for useful comment on the draft. My special thanks go to Han Hainen for his comment. May I propose that at the end of the seminar, we adopt the draft declaration. Now I turn to my second point that is concerning my presentation, which is pre-recorded.
Good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you are. My name is Mu-Yang Han, also known as Dr. Rainwater. I'm a professor at Seoul National University, and I'm a chairman of IAA Rainwater Harvesting and Management Specialist Group. Today, my topic is about new paradigm of water management. I'm going to talk about three All's: all water, by all, for all. In the world, we are facing water challenges such as drought, flooding, water shortage, and sinkhole. Especially in Europe, there was heavy flooding. And also, there are challenges in fire and energy also. And heat waves hit the US and Canada and Europe. And also, there are big mountain wildfire problem. Now, how to solve this climate crisis? We have been applied many technology and innovative solutions, but there is no answer yet. That means the diagnosis of the problem is something wrong, and the treatment is also something wrong. We have to think differently and act differently using new paradigm of water management. The first thing is to look at which water we are talking. This picture shows our natural rainfall all over the region, including the mountain, field, and river. And rainwater infiltrates to the ground. So far, in our traditional water management, the target is river and lake, which is visible. But there are other waters in our natural water cycle, which is invisible, such as water in soil, plants, and air. And also there are neglected water, which is rainwater. So in
돼요, 안 돼요?
Yeah, it would be nice you continue just presenting online rather than playing the recording.
So can we just a little bit change the schedule? So we have number 4. So she will make presentation number 4, and then I will go back to number 1. It's okay? Oops, 안 들려?
Okay. Do you mean we ask how soon you?
Sorry. Oh,
Very sorry for the technical issues.
so is it okay if okay? Let me see. Oh.
You need to rename your page. Please rename your page.
Home.
Perhaps we continue with the presenter Hae-Yun Yo from Seoul University.
Yes.
Great.
현사할래요? 네. 네.
Sorry
현사할래.
for the technical issues. Okay.
So, okay, let's switch. 현서 will make presentation. Okay.
Hello everyone, I am Hyun-Seo and I'm a freshman studying chemical and biological engineering at Seoul National University. I am very happy to meet you all. Last semester, I created videos about the rooftop garden in the building number 35, where I got to interview people who first made and initiated the garden on the rooftop. Today, I am here to share what I learned and realized while studying rooftop garden. By watching this video, I hope you all get interested in the green roof as I did. Let's explore! Here is the SNU building number 35 rooftop garden. You can see some vegetables and flowers. Exploring deeper inside the garden, we can find the small pond. Over the summers, let's explore. Here is the SNU building number 35 rooftop garden. We can see some vegetables and flowers. Exploring deeper inside the garden, we can find the small pond. Over the small pond, we can see another beautiful garden. We can see the potato, lettuce, and pumpkin farm. Moreover, SNU Rooftop Garden opens an annual event in summer where we not only share potatoes to local family, but also share joy to the community. I believe that the green rooftop garden brings lots of advantages to us. One important impact it brings is that the garden itself can fully utilize rainwater, which can contribute to responding to the climate crisis. Green roof directly collects the rainwater because it does not require extra spaces like rain harvesting system. The garden itself is a collecting place. Moreover, the ground is constructed in a concave shape, which is known as concave green roof. The garden is designed to have some spaces under the soil where the rainwater is collected. In this structure, maximum rainwater can be collected. Isn't it wonderful? Used to grow plants and prevent the flood caused by heavy rain. Moreover, green roof can save energy as well as it's used for cooling in summer and heating in winter. This video is taken in early April. As you see from the thermometer, temperature of the soil is lower than that of the other wall. Green roofs prevent the building's temperature from rising by blocking sunlight and evaporating rainwater in summer and insulate the building in winter. The last important point about the green roof is that it has a power to spread the rain culture. I personally think that this is the most crucial point. Rooftop gardens provides a gathering place for people who are interested in studying rainwater. In that way, people can unite to create a community that supports the roof garden. When that happens, rooftop garden can become a cheerful culture, not just a facility that grows vegetables and fruits. Therefore, rooftop garden has a power to connect people, spread the importance of rainwater. At last, Rain City concept can be initiated from the green roof. I believe that the most important factor to adopt the Rain City into our culture is our endless interest and support. Green roof can initiate and support the rainwater culture. This green culture will play a major role in utilizing rainwater, save energy, and connect people. To do so, we, the rain citizens, should take a proper steps to settle the green roof culture and create a suitable system to help people easily start their own green roofs. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's come back to Professor Mu-Yang Han. Mu-Yang, please.
Yes. Sorry. Okay. So can you see my presentation slide?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to very short. So my name is Mu-Yang Han. I'm a professor at Seoul National University. My today topic is management of all water by all for all. And there are world water challenges like in water, like drought, flooding, and water shortage and sinkhole, something like that. And also there are problems of fire and energy. The heat wave in the North America, and also mountain wildfire is burning as USA right now. So how to solve this climate crisis? So far, we have done applying many innovative ideas, but still we don't have a solution. So we have to think differently and act differently using new paradigm of water management. Now, I'm going to talk about three O's. The first O is which water. So I'm going to talk about all water. So if you look at the natural water cycle, the rainfall falls all over the region from the mountain, field, and river. And the rainwater infiltrates the underground groundwater and wets the soil surface and evaporate. So far, our concern of water management is at river and lake, which is visible. But there are other waters which is invisible water, which is water in soil, water in plant, and water in the air. And also there are big amount of water, which is the rainwater, which has been neglected. So my all water means we have to consider all water, visible, invisible, and rainwater. Second is for whom? I'm talking about for everybody. So let's consider our current water management system with my hand, with the which line. And this can be a city, and the line can be a sewer system or a river system. When the rainwater falls at all the area. But what we do now is to send all the rainwater to the river and manage it there. And the result is like that. If there's a heavier rain, then our system will be flooded. And the philosophy inside this design is for me only. For example, the people in the middle of the mountain, they just discharge it. If they are happy, that's all. That is the me only happy system. But if you look at the water, rainfall falls all over the area. So if each sector can collect the rainwater and store and infiltrate, then the amount of water that is going down will be reduced, then the flooding risk will be reduced, and the water can be used. So, for example, in the middle of the mountain, if there's a house, if they collect the water, rainwater, then we can reduce the flooding risk, and also we can use the water here. So the philosophy of this 2D water management is we not only think about me, but also we have to think about other people, downstream people. And let's talk about 3 dimensions. So 3 dimension means we have to look at the underground water. So groundwater is wet. Groundwater wets the soil surface so that the plant and animal can grow. But if we take out the groundwater too much, then the groundwater will go down and the surface will be dry. So we have to think about this. So we have to infiltrate rainwater to keep the rainwater, to keep the groundwater level same. The philosophy of this idea is for the environment. And number 4 means I use these 2 hands like this. The water infrastructure we are making now, it should be used for our children. So if it is too expensive and risky, then it will be a burden to our children. So the 4-dimensional water management should think about our next generation. If we look at this, if we look at our current system, it is not for everybody. So we have to think differently. Third question is by whom? Who will manage water? That should be by all people. If you look at the pyramid of water management, at the top, there are water experts, at the bottom, there are ordinary citizens. So far, what was managed by only water experts and it became top-down. But considering that the citizen and student, the ordinary citizen are water users and water polluters and rainwater dischargers, we have to get some support from those people. So we have to use citizen communication and as a water culture as a bottom-up approach. Here is an example of how everybody happy, but I will skip this one. At the Star City in Korea, they make a decentralized multi-purpose rainwater system, and everybody is happy. And also in my green rooftop, so Hyun-seo just showed this my green rooftop, and everybody is happy. Okay, so my new paradigm involves 2 things. One is rainwater, and the other thing is young people. I'm going to organize another seminar on Thursday about proposing international youth rainwater network. My last message is very simple. Rain is money. Please collect it instead of drain it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Muyang. Thank you for sharing a holistic and everybody happy approach. And today we also have the honor to have the mayor of Suwon City, Yam Tae-young, to give us an introduction on the Rain City initiative in the Suwon City. Mr. Young, please, the floor is yours. It's a little bit lag with the time. Yeah, here it is. Thanks. Sorry, we have a little bit. There is a video we will play soon. Please stay hold.
Hello, I am Yum Tae-young, the mayor of Suwon, Korea's environmental capital. Suwon is a city with a rich history and culture, at home to a UNESCO World Heritage Site, Suwon Hwasong Fortress. I am very pleased to share Suwon's experience as a rain city in response to the climate crisis at the Stockholm World Water Week 2021 seminar.
The picture you see now is the Suwon World Cup Stadium that caught the eye of soccer fans around the world during the 2002 FIFA World Cup, and is now the home stadium of a prestigious K-League club, drawing the attention of soccer fans in Korea every season. And this baseball field is the home stadium of a Korea's professional baseball team that currently ranks first in the league. Can you possibly guess the secret that these two places share? They are both great sporting arenas, but beneath them lies an amazing secret. In the basement of these two venues, there are rainwater storage tanks with a total capacity of 32,000 cubic meters. They are multi-purpose rainwater management facilities, helping to respond to the climate crisis. Collecting rainwater that falls on the roof of a building helps prevent flooding, and the accumulated rainwater can be used for city cleaning. In the heat of summer, it can also be sprayed on the roads to reduce the heat island effect. Korea has unequal annual precipitation and mountainous terrain, which are unfavorable conditions for rainwater management. The Korean forefathers, however, created a culture to manage rainwater based on a profound understanding of these natural characteristics. In 1441, during the reign of King Sejong the Great, they invented the world's first rain gauge and established a system for keeping national records of precipitation. Encouraging paddy farming and rainwater storage, King Sejong allowed the people to self-manage their water and food supply. Later, in 1770, King Jeongjo upgraded the rain gauge system, making it possible for Korea to keep very accurate rainfall records for 240 years from that time until now. If we examine the root meaning of the city's name, we discover that Suwon means source of water, and as befits its name, the city has a long tradition of water-related culture. Since the time its World Heritage Site, Suwon Hwasong Fortress, was constructed, the city's plans for water management have integrated rainwater, water supply, and drainage systems. In addition, embankments were built to control flooding and secure water for agriculture. Suwon City currently has 7 multi-purpose reservoirs, which are used for different functions, such as emergency water sources and lake parks. Building on the wisdom of the city's forefathers, Suwon declared itself a rain city in 2009 and has created a number of relevant policies and facilities. Between 2009 and 2014, the period of Rain City Season 1, Suwon enacted a Framework Ordinance on Water Circulation and a Framework Ordinance on Integrated Water Management. Rainwater storage facilities were installed at the Suwon Sports Complex and up to the current time, subsidy programs have led to the installation of 53 rainwater collection containers by the private sector. The city was the first in Korea to install a road spraying system, utilizing rainwater to reduce midsummer heat and wash away fine dust. Advances during Rain City Season 2 from 2015 to 2021 included the installation of additional road rainwater spraying systems, water supply systems for rainwater, porous pavement at parking lots, rainwater runoff barriers, infiltration trenches, and rain gardens. Through its Rain City initiatives, Suwon, the city's water self-sufficiency rate, has increased from 11% to 35% since 2009, and plans call for a further increase to 50% by 2030. In recognition of the originality and innovation of its policies, Suwon received the 2017 Local Government Policy Grand Prize and the Silver Award for Innovation in the 2018 Green World Awards. In the coming years, Suwon plans to push forward with Rain City Season 3 by cultivating citizens who recognize the importance of utilizing rainwater and creating a city-wide rain culture. To this end, Suwon would like to create a youth rainwater network to help the city's young citizens understand the importance of rainwater from an early age. This network can also reach out to global youth to gather the wisdom of water management from each country. At present, climate emergencies such as floods, water shortages, and heat waves are experienced in many parts of the globe. It is crucial to take practical short-term measures to reduce these crises by transforming our cities so that instead of dumping rainwater, they collect and utilize it. Therefore, today, as the mayor of Suwon, together with Professor Han Moon-young and experts from around the world, I would like to declare the Rain City initiative to combat the climate crisis through rainwater management. This is a declaration to overcome the climate crisis by changing our global rainwater management paradigm so that all cities around the world begin to recognize the value of rainwater and find ways to collect, store, and use it. Suwon offers our commitment to the creation of a new global water culture by working in close collaboration with Professor Han to share various policies and experiences with other countries to multiply rain cities worldwide. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Mr. Yum. And thank you for sharing leading examples of rainwater use in Suwon and in Korea. Our next speaker is Zainam Hasbai from Water Management Research Center, University of Mahaga Adablai, Iran. Zainam, the floor is yours.
Hello everyone, this is Zainab Hasbawi from University of Mahaga Adablai, Iran, wishing a very happy World Water Week, and I hope you are all keeping yourselves safe through these challenging times. In addition, a special thanks to organizers of the seminar for providing opportunity to speak on the climate restoration using local water management policies. If you could take a snapshot of the entire world, you would probably look upon a picture of war and misery, starvation, and the threat of climate change. But first, it is better to think on the what happens now. Unfortunately, the relationships of civilizations to water have changed over the course of history, especially in the 20th century. People attempted to confine and subjugate the water. floods, drought, tornadoes, and other extreme weather events are a syndrome of land which has been exploited by human beings with today's approach to surface water and rainwater. Land surface warming and a gradual change in the microclimatic are in results of the acceleration of the runoff of rainwater, the decrease in the integration of water into the soil, and finally the shortage of vegetation. So it is obvious that the mistakes that people make with strategic decisions can have long-term negative consequences. A distorted view on a problem can often lead to counterproductive measures. That's why knowledge of the correct paradigms is important in many fields of public policy, especially in the water management. Current water management policies, unfortunately, are planned based on the old water paradigm. In the old paradigm, the rainwater is often considered to be a waste product to be drained away quickly to streams and rivers. So, to this end, we have a lot of stewardship. But recently, Kravchuk et al. Presented a new water paradigm. In this paradigm, the rainwater is embraced as a valued resource for our communities. By having a paradigm shift in water management, we will replace the stewardship by the watershed. Okay? The primary principle in the new water paradigm is allow infiltration of water into the soil, its saturation, and the creation of the groundwater reserves as well as surface water reserves, and foster the growth of vegetation, which works as a climatization wall between the soil and the atmosphere. In the new water paradigm, as you see here in the picture, we have two water cycles, the small water cycles and the large cycle. Water decrease from the small water cycle is directly associated with the rise in extreme weather and with climate change. While the global attention thus far has focused on the impact of climate change on the water cycle, the new water paradigm focused on the impact of changes in the water cycle on climate change. Okay, it is very interesting. In the new water paradigm, the water and the climate change restoration are in reciprocal relationships. So, we need to adopt a holistic and cost-effective rainwater management that calls for all lands to do their part to help manage rainwater close to where it lands. Therefore, the Rain City initiative should intend to be strategic and address broad policy areas. Here you can see the strategy snapshot. The care for rainwater on the level of local administration is a key to the happiness of citizens and the health and safety of the environment. The development of municipalities is thus dependent on a sufficiency of water, stable water regime, which does not threaten the community well-being. The development of municipalities must also be built on the principle of water tolerance at the regional, continental, and global scale. The only suitable strategy for current climate recovery is a three-step approach. At first, capture the rainwater, then retain it in the landscape, and the third step, transfer only the excess that cannot be retained into watercourse. The development of the Rain City strategy should follow a strategic design, a process of ask, try, and do. Okay? The water harvesting measures are grouped in three classes: technological, biotechnical, and technological preventative. The essence of a practical solution to the problems of climate change is the renewability of the small water cycle through a full implementation of comprehensive measures in individual communities and towns. Here you can see some of the rainwater harvesting measures in different regions, for example, Canada, Iran, again Canada, USA, and here also rain garden, some pictures from swale, biotope, and debris filter in USA and Sweden. We strive to become a water-sensitive city plus respond to climate change with the guiding principle of water supply catchment, ecosystem services and biodiversity, resilience, adaptable and flexible infrastructure, collaborative action and water-wise behavior, and finally, equitable water future. The guiding principles, citywide systems, and watershed plans are informed by the lenses of intersectionality, equity, and reconciliation. Finally, we can conclude that in the light of changing climatic conditions, the key to the anthropogenic and ecological well-being depends upon the care for water on the level of local administration. The basic principle being simple in concept, as much as possible, harvest rainwater where it falls. The new water policy should focus on the overall protection of the territory with a focus on improving the water balance through the passing of measures aimed at increasing the water retentive. No matter who we are, where we live, or what we do, water is an essential part of life and has the ability to connect us all. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.
Thank you, thank you. Our next speaker is Dr. Petra Haslerov from Anki OPS. Petra, please.
Good morning. I have also good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Presentation.
Yes, we can see your presentation. Please go ahead.
Good morning or good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Petra Haslerova. I'm from a small research organization called Enki from the water body and energetics in terms of importance of my present.
Your voice is on and off.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Petra Haslerova. I'm from a small research organization called Enki from the Czech Republic. Enki used to be an ancient Mesopotamian god of water. So also our research interest is in managing bodies, water quality, landscape energetics in terms of the importance of vegetation water in local climate. My presentation will be focused on the nexus of blue-green infrastructure in the cities with the emphasis on the green component. In other words, it usually means use of water and greenery in order to improve the microclimate conditions in urban areas. The blue component is connected with the management of rainwater, use of various water features in public places. Vegetation is considered as the green one. Its role is associated with the biodiversity, aesthetic function, erosion protection, air pollution, and last but not least with the climate improvement. However, the question is, do we really understand how it functions in terms of climate? And do we really know the power of its air conditioning effect? Probably not. Almost no one can correctly explain
Sorry for the technical issues.
Sorry, we have some connection problems. So is it okay to roll the Michelle Krabaki's video, the sixth one? Okay, I will load it.
Yeah, while you're loading, Michael Kravitz is the director for People and Water. I guess Michael is here as well.
Okay.
Okay, good morning, everybody. I'm here from Slovakia, and I came to present. Maybe it's better by video to share because it's some problem is technical, like in Petra, which was problem with connection. And please, a short video about this initiative, which are support renewable rain in cities and link between water and climate system in urban zones, please.
Is Michal Kravčík. I am from Slovakia, from NGO People and Water. I bring to auditorium to Stockholm Water Symposium idea in a relationship between water and climate. Historically, we know that whole rainwater was like some waste, and we need to quickly remove. And we built last century a sophisticated solution how to fast support the runoff rainwater from the urban zones. And we know that it's just now we are every year around 60 billion cubic meter of rainwater channelized support to runoff from municipality to from Europe to streams, river and cities. And the results from this is about this with creation of heat islands, and heat islands means to completely dry lands like desert. I select one very beautiful city on the Central Europe, Prague, you know very well, and look about this red zone. And the red zone is this extremely heat with degrees in summertime more than 30 degrees, and outside countryside it is about 10 degrees lower temperature. And heat island is this very simple bubble which we are create, which is completely isolated climate system, and with heat which are produced from urban zones create new reality phenomena on the, for example, distribution of rain clouds, like in a concrete situation in Košice. It is one city in which I am living in Košice with 250,000 inhabitants, and 11 August was concrete situation how is very heavy rain was around city, but inside in Košice was completely low level of precipitation. Similar situation, but more drastic, was in Germany in middle of July. But it's in west side from huge massive urban zone of cities like Dortmund, Essen, Düsseldorf, Köln, Bonn was created massive heavy rain epicentrum, which create extremely dangerous situation for flash flood, and the result was catastrophic. A lot of people was on the shock. And why this reality new phenomena is growing? Because distribution of solar energy, which was historically was more solar energy was transformed to latent heat, but evapotranspiration water to atmosphere, and just now with growing of urban zones starting to new reality produce sensible heat from solar energy, 60 to 70%, and this conflict between sensible heat and latent heat create this new phenomena in atmosphere with very drastic vertical concentration of clouds, especially in mountains, forest ecosystem. Results from this is this like concrete situation in Germany, where the urban zone was precipitation was around 10-20 millimeter, but outside in countryside in forested area more than 100 millimeters. And in a real situation like in Slovakia, look about this massive clouds, rain clouds are in urban zones, not in urbans. It is forested area, not in urban zones, because in urban agro-urban zones is completely no clouds, because it's more heat with territory, with push of humid air to mountains areas. And we need to completely change, which means it is from rainwater is like a vase. We need to, it's a vase of rainwater is this asset. We need to harvest to urban zone and make cool effect, like concrete situation, which we starting to build capacity in Košice a couple years ago, and look how it's changed from dry, eroded place on the park, just now is completely green. And the same, we need to build capacity around this air conditioner system by trees. Trees we need to plant, but for trees we need more water, and water it is necessary harvest to soil because the root system needs to pumping water to atmosphere and make air conditioned system. And we know that one adult trees can to vapor daily 400 liters per day, but if no water, scarcity is more, maybe only 40 liters per day. And on this principle of new water paradigm, we are develop this Košice action plan, and look about this basic characteristic of a territory in Košice. Around Košice, we are analyzed that it is necessary for recovery of a climate to build more than 15 million cubic meter of water retention measure volume. We've invest more than 100 million euro with increasing of vapor water to atmosphere, with reduction on sensible heat production 10,000 gigawatt hours of energy, with reduction of average annual temperature minus 0.85 degrees, with carbon sequestration, with supporting of photosynthesis, creation of new jobs. Its main task is a massive support restoring of rainwater with advantage positive impact on the water sources, anti-flood, anti-erosion protection, moderate of climate, biodiversity, and this solution is very cheap, simple, and effective. And this is about a big challenge, not only for Košice city, but for another city around the globe. And I am very happy to present this idea, which we starting on my region, together with other friends around this Rain City initiative around the globe. Thank you very much. It is 30 years experience bring global recognition.
Thank you very much, Michelle. Very, very nice case. We can learn from you. Our next speaker is Miss Rosie Jenks. She's the Vice President of Brown and Caldwell. Yes. Please, Rosie.
Hello, my name is Rosie Jenks, and I'm a National Technical Leader for Brown and Caldwell. I help cities transform their landscapes using green infrastructure and nature-based solutions for water quality, flood risk, and climate adaptation. Professor Hahn asked me to talk about the role of rainwater in a one water approach and describe some of the trends I'm seeing in North America. So One Water is an integrated planning and management approach for long-term resilience and reliability that meets the needs of communities and ecosystems. It's about managing all aspects of the water cycle from the top of the watershed to the bottom, encompassing all the natural and built sources and sinks of water. As Luna Leopold says, the health of our waters is the principal measure of how we live on the land. In urban areas, we are rebuilding our watersheds every day. Each time we pave a road, build a house, or plant a garden, we have an opportunity to slow, sink, cleanse, and infiltrate stormwater. Rainwater is the most unifying one water element in our communities. We can all agree that water doesn't follow jurisdictional boundaries and that watershed health and a one water planning approach cannot truly happen with our current regulatory and infrastructure paradigms. There are too few incentives to compel organizations to work together or to consider the full water cycle. Climate change is beginning to force these issues, but until we have new systems of governance and infrastructure funding, it's critical to think like a watershed, but to start where you are. Today, I'm going to discuss the trends I'm seeing in North American cities. These trends include integrated planning, using risk-based approaches to integrate water quality with flooding and sea level rise, and using social and economic factors in engineering analysis, and working across jurisdictions to create multi-benefit solutions to solve citywide problems. Several cities like San Francisco, California, Vancouver, British Columbia, and Seattle, Washington are opting to bring in a wider set of considerations into their planning and going beyond simple regulatory compliance. I'm working with the City of Vancouver on their sewer and rainwater management plan to integrate green and gray infrastructure for climate resiliency while seeking reconciliation with First Nations. Another trend that is worth mentioning is that engineering practice is beginning to integrate multiple forms of risk into decision-making. No longer is water management or flood management simply a technical consideration. We are using information on social vulnerability and economic factors to overlay these factors with watershed and infrastructure needs to identify opportunities for multi-benefit projects that reduce risk in the most vulnerable communities first. Seattle's Shape Our Water Plan is a 50-year integrated drainage and wastewater plan developed through a lens of racial and social equity to prioritize partnerships for green infrastructure and resiliency in vulnerable communities. They've hired a group of paid community members that represent various diverse communities to help design the stakeholder engagement for this plan to ensure that the recommendations are representative and reflective of community needs and priorities. Communities like Hampton, Virginia are seeing that they can integrate flood resilience and water quality with other community needs, such as pedestrian safety, heat risk, park needs, and transportation improvements. And really the integration of these capital projects each time we touch the landscape begin to help improve on all fronts. Los Angeles is another example. They're home to the largest urban street network in North America, and we're working with them to look citywide to identify areas of overlap between flooding and stormwater management to priorities with other infrastructure risks such as sewer and water replacement, urban forestry needs, pedestrian safety, and urban heat risks. And when we overlay these with an equity lens, we can begin to reduce risk again in the most vulnerable communities. This one infrastructure planning tool allows the agencies to pool their funding and build back their streets better while providing efficient use of public dollars. So once you've conducted your watershed plan, identified your highest risk areas, you can identify where your watershed needs intersect with community priorities and develop projects that result in new landscapes and multi-benefit projects. I've got a very short amount of time today, so I'm going to quickly give you some North American examples of green and complete streets, floodable parks, schoolyards, and looking at new examples of funding and governance. These are two green streets. The first is on the left is in Cesar Chavez Street in San Francisco, and the second on the right is called the Swale on Yale in Seattle, Washington. Both nice examples of urban design, multi-benefit urban design. These projects are designed to reduce flood risk and protect against storm surge. The two projects, one in New York City and one in Norfolk, Virginia, are both shoreline projects that are designed to reduce the impact of storm surge and provide habitat and recreational value, as well as these multi-benefit flood strategies. In the right-hand side is in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and this is a project that is inland that is using streets, runoff, and flood storm surge to be stored in local parks to help mitigate the impacts of sea level rise on the city. In San Francisco, they're reprioritizing their investments to look at schools first as a stormwater investment to really create low impact design in school environments that provide outstanding children's environments, as well as providing urban cooling and water quality benefits. In the bottom right-hand side is the city of South San Francisco, which is taking flow off a flood control channel and using it to irrigate a local park for groundwater recharge and to provide both community amenities for a new park, as well as reduced water quality impacts associated with the flood control channel. And lastly, as I mentioned earlier, we really need to have new versions of governance and funding. Without these, we will not be able to achieve these goals of integrated planning and project delivery. So the project on the left is something that's a project sponsored by the World Resources Institute. It's called a Joint Benefits Authority. And this is a new funding and mechanism and governance tool for bringing together multiple agencies as well as community partners to pool their funding and to have ways of financing projects that have these multiple benefits. And on the right-hand side, this county of San Mateo, which is in California, has taken it a step further and created an entirely new merged agency for their entire county, which puts together all the planning and project delivery for flooding and sea level rise and water quality all into one agency. So while neither of these are perfect solutions to our problems, they both really start to show a path forward for how we can start adapting our governance structures, project delivery, and funding structures for climate resiliency. So I'm done with my examples for you today, but I'll leave you with my thanks and gratitude for your time. And here's my contact information if you have any further questions.
Thank you very much. Because of the time, I would like to suggest we have the final presenter, Han. And it's our honor to have Han Heinen from the IRHA, International Rainwater Harvesting Alliance. He's the president, and we would like to have him give the last presentation. And after that, Mu-Yang will give the final concluding remarks. Thank you. Han, please, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Perfect, thanks.
Okay, good. Can you put the presentation on? I would like to, first of all, thank the Mayor, Yom Tae-Yong, and Professor Han for setting up this interesting seminar. It's very important to make sure that all of us learn about these initiatives that increasingly are happening around the world, and the last presentation also showed it. We at IRHA are working more on the low-income countries and situations, and are increasingly also moving into rainwater management in resilient cities. But as you can see from the little picture here, it is slightly different. Next, please. Muyong, next. Can I do that myself? No, I cannot. I can, yes. Okay, so one of the things that is critical to our efforts is, of course, the fact that, you know, it makes a difference. 35% water self-sufficiency is claimed by Mayor Yom Tae-yung, which, of course, is very good. And this is one of the reasons why we would like to emphasize the importance of going for a local climate crisis mitigation process that is called Rain City Initiatives. I very much also liked Michael's comment that, you know, when you work together, you can do a lot and it doesn't have to be all that costly. And that is my argument. Next, please. That is my argument with respect to saying that we have to join hands between the professionals and the citizens. And it is something that community well-being, that trust, that we have systems in place that will help us with respect to water, but also not threaten the water to become a problem, is something that is very necessary. But it requires a multi-year process of genuine communication and information sharing, not just telling people, but talking with people and organizing it in such a way that it will work. But that is an essential cost component. That's something that is costing money and an effort. Next, please. Next, please. I'm not sure whether I can do that. No. Oops. Yes. Now it's going completely. Okay, try again. Yes, and so you can see here on this slide, Michael Krafzig's team, you know, it takes 30 years and it takes a lot of multifaceted interactions in order to make sure that it will work. Will it work? Yes, gradually it will work. And do we have traditions on this? Yes. I mean, in the little box down here, a few days ago, I was talking with my friends in Nepal, and they were claiming that they have actually studied it, that there is a substantial difference in temperature between the homes that are near ponds as well as the homes that are further away. And that, of course, starts making a difference because, unfortunately, to some extent, we have been concreting the world. And by concreting the world, you, of course, heat up everything and find it very hard, even in the night, to cool it down. So rainwater, rain, also the use of rain as cooling is very, very important. Next, please. We have been working on that for a number of, next slide, please, for a number of years already. And there are several other initiatives. Here is an example of Bhaktapur in Nepal, making it a rain-efficient city, which it once was. But then somehow in the last 40, 50 years, all these ponds that were there somehow became into disrepair. And we have gone for fancy outside solutions. But now we find that, you know, actually by looking at our local infrastructure, trying to redo it, improve it, and so on, you can resolve a lot of issues. So it's going to work, but it's going to take time, and local professionals and people will have to talk together in order to revive the traditions and make people partners, everybody a partner within the setup. I think this is my last slide. Can I have another last slide? Yes. Next, please. Of course, it is, as Rosie was saying, it is not going to be all that easy. There are many technical options that are available, and it has to work within the regulations and all these type of aspects. Whether you have regulations, whether you have people, whether you have traditions, you will have to take them into account, and you will have to work together to come to new solutions. That is taking time. When it takes time, we have to engage our youth. And I think this is something that is also very nice in this setup. We have a number of younger people speaking and working on this very important aspect of how we are going to organize our water management situation in the cities in the future. And that type of information we need to exchange amongst ourselves so that we can inspire and encourage everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Han. Muyang,
Yes.
please.
Yes, yes. So, so time is almost here. Oh, I'm very sorry about the technical problems. So we missed the very valuable presentation by Petra. Because of time concentration, we have to apologize to skip her presentation. And at the end of this seminar, so we are now approaching the end of the seminar. As I mentioned in the beginning, I hope this seminar will adopt the draft declaration of a Rain City Initiative. Already you and may other experts commented, and comments are fully reflected in the draft declaration. I wonder whether there is any additional comment or opinion. Maybe I see none. Now, the draft declaration is adopted by consensus. The Rain City Initiative declaration will be introduced at the first Skywater Festival on 31st August in Korea, Suwon. I will request the relevant stakeholders to act in accordance with the declaration. I am certain that the Rain City concept will be widely disseminated. Your support will be indispensable in this regard. Thank you very much. And I thank you, Hong, and the other speakers and the participants to join this important seminar. We will go further with the Rain City Initiative, with the mayor of Suwon City and many other experts who attended this seminar. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye. See you next time. Bye.